Hi, I'm Peter O'Keefe, and today we're back with another video on how I practice. This week is actually a big week for me as a player. It's the Irish Amateur Open week, so I'm probably just going to go through some stuff and talk freely about what's in my head on what I want to feel with the putter in my hand. It's a simple enough exercise, it's a simple enough movement, yet it's so hard to do it correctly. Hopefully, we can figure some stuff out together, and we will go from there. Okay, so the first thing that most people fail on when they practice is they do something different in practice that they won't do on the golf course, right? So I use a line on the ball, very simple. Okay, I like it down the Pro V line on the ball, and that would be a dodgy line now because there's a few specs, but anyway, we'll get over it, right? But if you're practicing your putting on the golf course, or so if you play on the golf course with a line on the ball, you have to practice with a line on the ball. Otherwise, why are you using a line on the ball? That's the first thing, right? The second thing, and I learned this from Garth McGimsey when I was playing on the Concession Cup team, and he was clearly the captain or the senior guy, and we were in Concession in Sarasota, and here I am lining up, and he comes up to me on the first green of the first day of practice, and I thank him for this because I've done it ever since. So I'm like, right, line to my target over the ball, and he kind of pulls me aside. He was like, "Are you checking your line?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "How are you checking it?" And it'd be like someone like Roy Keane or someone coming at you, because he's a very well respected person in golf. And I was like, and I was the Irish champion at the time, and he was actually taking me on, which was great. And he said, "You're not checking the line. How are you checking it?" So he gets in front of me, and he's like, "This is how you check it." So he's like, "Right, where's that line?" And I was like, "It's left edge." And he was like, "Bullshit. It's not left edge. You're like two balls to the left." So I have gotten that specific in how I line the ball up to my target on the green. And then it has to be like that in your practice. So if you go down the line there, you'll see there's three balls with three lines on a string, and they should pretty much be lined up to my eye line, which is when I get over it here. So when I look on that string, I should not see that line. It should be the string. You know what I mean? So that's how I suppose focused one would like their practice. So I suppose the point is there's two things. If you're going to use a line on the ball, which I actually really like, I mean it's legal, it's part of the game. It gives you now there's lines on golf balls anyway, like the logos and stuff, or you see a lot of players can do it this way. And some players don't like the line, but I love the line. Um so if you're going to line it up with something, so that's lined up there. My process then would be to get behind it and double check it. So I close my right eye and I use the shaft, bearing in mind if you're being very, very OCD on it, you know the shaft is tapered so it can get narrower on the way down. So you might have to angle that or not, depending on what putter you have. And if you're happy with that, you're trying to get over the putt and repeat the practice you're doing, right? That didn't, you know what, I didn't mind that. See, here's the other thing about that one, right? So I didn't give that maybe a full look, but the line rolled end over end over end over end, right? So the feedback, even though I missed the putt, is that I hit a good stroke. So you're getting positivity from it the whole time. So obviously, right, you might say a misread, but again, you leave the green 100% knowing that was a misread. It wasn't a bad putt. Parked it, moved on. In a perfect world, you get the read right, you get everything right, you roll it end over end. There's nothing better in putting or in golf, I would argue, that you see a ball end over end over end over end disappear in the front door of the hole. It just, it talks to all the practice you've done, your process, why you use the line, um, how proficient your stroke is, and again, this isn't about technique. And if you do have technical issues, like, you need to go to your PGA Pro and they will put you on either a TrackMan or whatever they have to find out is your putter moving in a straight line or whatever your pattern is. I mean, that's pretty much it. So there is a technical need, but for me as a player, where I am now in my golf career, let's call it, it's all about feedback. So I mean, a putting stroke is a small biomechanical action. There's not a lot to it. Yet, I keep saying it, it's hard to do it. It's hard to do it consistently. I love it. It's a part of the game I really love. So let's go through this one here. Okay, so I suppose I would be very gym minded in how I practice. So I'm all about stations and, you know, repetitiveness. So this one here, I like to do this in sets of 10. So I would do 10 sets of 3. So let's just say you're 2, 3.5, 5, or 2, 4, 6, or whatever your distance is. Has to be lined up, ideally finding a straight putt and going from there. So I'm just going to work backwards. So if I do 3 in a row, you set them up again. If you can do that 10 times, it's obviously 30 putts. Then I would bring in another training aid that I use, which is a steel ruler. It's nothing to do with golf. It's something you buy in a hardware store. And then I take it all away and I try and do 10 putts from this distance here, which would be the furthest one. Let's call it 6 feet, and try and repeat without anything. And then that's the training. So I'll do 1 round of it, right? So, and this string is handy because it has these kind of dots you can kind of slide them up and down. I actually don't know where I got this. One of my million purchases. So again, setting up, lining everything up, repeat. There's a bit of a push, but that was all right. Same again. And again. Perfect. So those ones there are all fine. And this is the disciplined part that people kind of go, sure, I'll just pull it out of the hole there and do it again as normal. You've got to line it up again, go through the whole thing, because you're trying to calibrate your eyes. You're trying to really get a feel of repetition, that you can repeat this under pressure. All right, so this one, the first round wasn't great. Just have to really focus now on this one. See, that was pushed again. And then this one. That was a better, see, that one was a better stroke than that one on those 2 rounds. So I'm getting feedback straight away. Okay, so the main thing there, especially on that last one, the 6-footer, which you'll get loads of them in a tournament, is that the line is moving end over end. But straight away, even after 2 rounds of this, I'm not as good from short range as I am from long range, which is interesting. So you want to get that out of your system pronto. So I'll just bring the pace down a little bit. That's lovely. So the first 2 might have been a hair quick. That was really good as well. And like, I don't mind, right? You know, this thing of, putter head watch. I actually, in practice, don't really mind if you watch your putter head both ways. You need to know that there's nothing majorly problematic there. So we'll do 1 more round of this and try and just get. Here's another thing you can do, which I really like doing, is calling different paces. So if I said firm, medium, and fall in the front door, right? So we'll do a firm one. So this would be medium. And this one to really fall in the front door. Okay, didn't really fall in, but it was grand. But that's another thing you can do there when you know everything is linear, everything is lined up, you feel good, the strike is good, you're hearing it. That's another thing. Take your AirPods out of if you're practicing your putting, like, you need all your senses, you need it all, like, you need to hear the click of what's going on here, even the clothes moving, like your arms moving on, like, take the AirPods out and just feel it, hear it, see it, touch it, and listen. You need to listen. It's going to fall in the front door or not. I'm going to hit the back of the hole, hear the ball going into the hole. All that is positive stuff. So that's very simple. That can also be done with a chalk line, but absolutely invaluable. I suppose the massive thing I've learned late enough in my career was you have to be disciplined enough. if you're going to use a line, use it. So put it down, line it up, use the shaft to line it. It's confirmed in your head. You know the ball is on line. It's up to you to put a good stroke on it. And end over end over end over end. Done. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and also if you like this video and you'd like to develop your game further in your area, please seek out your local PGA professional.